A Newcastle side are coming down to the London Stadium to take on West Ham United in a game where they currently sit in those Champions League spaces, and West Ham trying to put that gap between the relegation zone and ourselves. This is again a big game in a jam-packed April. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. We cover every single West Ham game here, and this one, of course, is no different, as it's a midweek game, a rearranged game from earlier on in the season, just to add to the joys of April as well. So yeah, we are here for the build-up show. The lineup is less than 30 minutes away, so we're going to discuss the game, Newcastle, and the lineup as and when we get it. And Mike is joining me to go through all of that. Mike, how are you?
Yeah, good. Evening all.
Hope you are well. Let's see who we have got in the chat. Cyber, hope you are well. James as well. And Phil is joining us, so we've got a good few of you in here. Get your comments, predicted lineups, predictions, whatever you like. Go crazy, fill your boots, put it into the chat, and we'll discuss anything you would like to discuss. Andy, thank you very much indeed for joining us as well, all the way over in New Zealand. What's the time over there, mate? What are we currently on? Let us know. So, Mike, a win on Sunday, sort of. Well, I suppose it doesn't cement anything really, but it gives us a bit of support going into this game, where if we get a point, then it will look good over the two games.
Yeah, I think that win on Sunday should take a little bit of pressure off. I think they should be able to play with a bit more freedom tonight. I think, to be totally honest, it was a poor game. It was two nervous teams really, but overall we were the better team. There's no doubt about that. But hopefully it gives us, it's not a free hit tonight, but it gives us a little bit less pressure to go out there and hopefully put in a better performance, and more importantly is pick up some more points.
Exactly, that's just the vital thing. We've got to go into the usual suspect. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Peter as well. I'll give him Mike, Richard, and everyone else. Tough game tonight. Love a win, but a point would be good against an informed team. Yeah, I think you're bang on. If we can get a point tonight, as I just mentioned to Mike, there's that makes these two games sweat. If I would have said to you, and if you would have said to me on Saturday, Mike, in the next two games, we're going to get 4 points, I'd snatch it out of your hand right then and there. So if we, after getting that win on Sunday, if we lose tonight, it's not the end of the world. Of course, it'll be disappointing. It won't be the end of the world, but if we can get a point, it paints a very nice picture then going in, because it's 3 games in 6 days,
Yeah, I know they're coming thick and fast now. I mean, yeah. I think tonight, to be totally honest, although I say it's not free hit, I mean, you could almost go out and have a go,
we got David Moyes as manager in mind.
Yeah, I know. I'm dreaming now. Those sort of things don't happen with David Moyes in control. But joking aside, Sunday was a 6-pointer, a massive, massive game that we had to win.
Yeah,
we had to win. This is a game in hand, and it would be nice to pick up a point. We were lucky last night. Almost everything went our way. So even that is taking a little bit more pressure off, because I think it might have been possible we could have been sat back in the bottom 3 or maybe 4th from bottom. But we've got away with that, with the games going and the results going our way last night. So it'd be nice to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's see what else we've got in the chat. Andy says Downs and Antonio's maybe replacements. We'll get into that in a few minutes, because I'm sure we'll have little team news nuggets coming through. So we'll discuss that as and when we get it. Chris from Leicester Till I Die TV. Well, you got your wish. He's gone, and you still lost. No, I'm only joking. Made the most of it. You won't see us next season when we go down. Well, if it means that's all you going down, obviously we know which way it's working here. But yeah, it's not looking good. I'll say that, Chris. I watched you on Saturday against Palace, and that didn't fill me with any hope for you. I must have been. Moyes gone. Yeah, he won't go. He won't go to at least the end of the season now. Miss Hammer, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Even all sorry, as a way at the moment, wanting to pop in and say hello and drop a like. Thank you very much. Subscribe if you're new, and it helps grow the channel. It certainly does. So please smash that like button. Let's try and get up to at least 20 likes. We're on 15 already. So smash that like button if you haven't already. What is the away ticket allocation? That would sort of play a factor tonight. So they got a very good away following, even though it's a Wednesday night. I'm sure Newcastle will fill it out. They got a very good away contingent. contingent. Obviously, you sit next to the away fans, and Newcastle, from what I know, one of the loudest. So they'll be looking to get behind the team after their great win on Sunday, Mike.
Yeah. Newcastle Rovers are a good following, full stop, and you got to give it to them because I mean it's been even longer for them. They've won anything than us. I mean, and they keep following them in their droves, and their fans will get behind their team. There's no doubt about it. So it'd be important for us to keep them quiet early on.
Yeah, exactly.
Not early on, all night long, full stop.
Charlie Boy says, not expecting much today, but I'd be happy with a point versus Newcastle. I think that's a sort of general mindset from the fan base, which I think is very fair after Sunday. You know, if Sunday wouldn't have gone well and Moyes would have still been in a job, you know, we would have been sitting there going, we need to win this game, no matter who it is. We need to win this game. So it just you know, paints it all in a completely alternative picture. But you know, we'd still, of course, love to win this match. That would be amazing. But you know, if we don't and we get a point or nothing, it's not, you know, relegation end of the world, is it? Peter says Moyes will set up not to lose, and if we do not, to concede too many. Yeah, and especially with the Newcastle side, they've got the best defence in the league through stats and on paper, and you've got you know, attacking players looking to come back into some form. That Isak is starting to boil, Mike. So they've got some dangerous players, and I said last night in the preview to Phil, they've got foundations of a really good side, good keeper, great defence, solid midfield, and they've got some very good attacking players.
Yeah, they have, and I mean they've not really brought a lot of players in. No. They've just added a few, and give Eddie Howe his due. He's got them going. I mean, on paper, if you look at it, they're man for man, they're not really a lot better than us. They're just they're a team playing with a lot of confidence, and we're a team devoid of any confidence. So that makes a lot of difference in football.
It does. It does, and you know, especially with a side that you know, Moyes linked us to them in his pre-match press conference about, you know, sort of where we were, and we dropped off. The same time they sort of dropped off, but they've got back up in there again, and you know, they're never going to catch the top two with City on 64 and Newcastle on 50, and it's very congested from that point on, pretty much all the way down from the sort of European battle to the relegation battle. It's tight there. They have played 2 games less than Spurs on level points, as the same. They've played the same games as Man United on level points. It's very, very tight there. But you've got to look at the table. They are third, and on paper, if you look at the table, they're the third best team in the league. So we've got to be wary of that.
Exactly, and I remember people saying, "Oh, we only drew with Aston Villa the other day." Well, look how they've gone.
Yeah,
I mean, they're on a great run of form, you know. And in the end, I thought that was a useful point, because I think we deserved that point that day as well. They're saying, "Oh, they're on the beach." Well, hang on a minute. They keep winning games.
They're definitely not on the beach.
They might be on the beach, but because they've got no. The only reason they're saying that is probably because they've got no pressure on them, and they're just playing freely, and they're getting results. So
and they're 7th in a European Conference League spot, 2 points off of a Europa League spot.
Yeah, so you can't knock that. I mean, so if you go back and you look at the results we've had this year at home, they've all been fairly useful results. Yeah, we have drawn with Villa, and we've drawn with Chelsea, but you know, it's a London derby. West Ham Chelsea is always a massive game.
Yeah,
you know, it's we've scraped a lot of results, admittedly, like we did on Sunday, but it's 3 points, and they were a massive 3 points.
It doesn't matter about the performances as long as we're getting those points on the board in the business end of the season. Brad's came in with a £1 million question. Who would you realistically like to be our next manager? Not thinking that far ahead yet, Brad. Let's secure.
There's a few out there at the moment, Jake. At the moment, there's a few, and I know there was talk about a certain Italian manager today,
Roberto Mancini.
But I mean, I don't know. I just like. I would really like to see Moyes keep us up this year, and win that conference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It would be a job to get rid of him then. But if he goes, do you know what I mean? He can walk away saying, "Look at the job I've done."
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and we could say, "Thank you very much for the job you've done for us."
Yeah, bang on, bang on. Peter says Pope. Pope is going to be hard to beat again. He's a good goalkeeper. He had that lapse in concentration, which ended up getting him sent off and suspended for the final. But he's still undoubtedly a great keeper. Phil says great foundations. Wish we could play like them and have the positivity like they do, even with the billions of pounds they have in the bank. And you know, they have got those billions of pounds there, but they haven't gone crazy. They've been wise about the way they've done it. Many people expect them to just scattergun and almost do what Chelsea have done, with, you know, to that extent, because we know they've got that money, but they've been more wise and smart about it. And I say credit to them. I really do. Andy says Eddie Howe is a good coach, good motivator. He certainly is. Frankie says, "Oh, evening. Oh, another cup final game tonight. They all are now. We need to just keep picking up those points, and that is the main thing." Peter says Watkins and Tony are ones that got away. Watkins, I'd say definitely, but with the future of Tony being quite uncertain, I just sort of hold off on that one. You never know what's going to happen there. Lee says, hi everyone, just wanted to say, hit the like button, comment your ones, we are massive overlanders. Indeed, thank you very much indeed for coming in. Lee, Pete as well, thank you very much for joining us. Everybody else saying hello to each other. We will get that very, very shortly. I'm sure I'll get some I'm sure I'll get some early news of that very shortly, Pete. But official team news is 18 minutes away. Newcastle then, obviously in the reverse fixture, Mike, we drew 1-1. They were notably without Bruno Guimaraes for that game, but it's got to give us hope that we can get at least a point off of them tonight.
Yeah, we started terrible. We were awful, weren't we? I mean, we could have been 2 or 3-0 down in the first 5 minutes, but we settled into that game and we give them a pretty decent game, I think. They weren't in a great run of form then at the time, so yeah. But hey, it should give us a bit of confidence to go and give them a game tonight.
Yeah,
they're a good side, but they're not unbeatable. That is for sure. I mean, you're saying Pope, he pulled off some brilliant saves at Burnley last year. I mean, one save was probably one of the best saves I've seen all season.
Yeah.
They're solid defensively. They've started scoring a few goals now, and that's what was letting them down. So, it's going to be a tough game. There's no doubt about that.
For sure.
But just, I want to see some fight again tonight. I really do.
And let's try and go for them, and put them on the back foot. And we say it every single week. We know it's probably not going to happen, but why not just go for it, please, West Ham, please. George, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Could do with seeing Lanzini, Rice and Paqueta in the middle tonight. Let's talk about team news options, and we discussed it slightly last night, but you'd like to think in one of these two games coming up now, he's got to rotate. It's just which one he chooses, Mike.
Yeah, well, we could all see it, couldn't we, on Sunday? I know we were all screaming from the stands. Souček I felt sorry for the guy in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't really
want
to
be fair, Mike, to be fair, I was screaming from my padded seat, but that's okay.
Well, yeah, I know he was out there with a prawn sandwich brigade, but, us minions were,
What can I say?
Tucked up in our normal position. But no, joking aside, Souček just didn't look like he wanted to be out there, to be fair. He was getting the ball and he didn't really want it. And I think
passes in 45 minutes.
I know, and one decent pass out of all of them. One decent pass. I mean, it's just not good enough. It doesn't get you out the pitch quick enough. It doesn't get you on the front foot. It slows you down because we are playing a different way now. He suited the way we was playing when we were counter-attacking and he was hitting the box. And he was in a good run of form and he was confident, but he's lost all his confidence now. You can see it's drained out of him, and it might be a good thing for him to give him a rest and take him out of the team for a while.
We've known it for a long, long time, and we sit here and I could comfortably say the way he's playing and the style that we play and the way he's being portrayed, this is the only side that you get into in the Premier League, and there is no doubt about the way we're playing and the way that he's being told to play. It's not worked for over 12 months. It hasn't. He has been awful, and we see the stats week in, week out. 8 passes, 15 passes in 45 minutes of football. He's the most ineffective player in the Premier League, and he's up there with Danny Ings. because these players are being played in the completely wrong way. And we keep hearing Moyes looks at these players and how they play before he signs them, and he plays them in this style of play that's completely anti-football, completely, exposes every single weakness in their sort of arsenal with it. It's just baffling to me how if Moyes is resolutely going to stick with this, stick with this style of play, you can't play Souček.
You can't, I'm afraid. And let's face it, we do have a lot more of the ball now than we used to. And you expect that with Rice and Paqueta in the midfield. You would really expect that. I mean, for me on Sunday, some of the positives for me was Emerson overlapping from left back, and honestly, Tilo, I thought he had the best game he's had for us. Kira was, other than a poor touch, he could have been in on goal there once. He was the only one making that break. Yeah. So the two fullbacks were good, and they're not playing as wing, but they're in a back four. So that's an improvement, with and that is because the two centre halves that we've been needing to play together all year are back playing with each other, and you get a bit of confidence back there. Now, the two in midfield, Paqueta and Rice, are playing pretty well. I think Paqueta is winning tackles. He's un-Brazilian-like in ways. He's done really well. So that's happening. It's just that pivot in the middle that's not happening. And we were on Danny Ings is a box striker. He needs to be in the box. We've seen it, didn't we, against Forest? When we were on the front foot, he's dangerous. He's in the box. He's sniffing around. He knows where the back of the net is, to be fair to him. But we haven't been playing that far at the pitch because that pivot is missing in front of the two midfielders. Full stop. With a player like someone just mentioned, Lanzini. Yeah, I think he deserves a chance. He's done okay in the European games. It's either him or Fornals, or even put Benny in there.
Yeah.
It's
just trying something different, and we've we've known his stubbornness not to change because we've seen it for a good year. And we know these players have quality, but it's just so frustrating standing there, sitting there, going up and down the country, watching us play with handcuffs on, just completely with handcuffs on, because we know these players have quality, but they're not being allowed. And one day I hope they go, no, you know what, we aren't going to listen to you today. We're going to play football our way and play, and it'll be exciting. And let's hope today that the players put on a show for the fans. Even if we don't win, let's not just go down with it, sort of 1-0, didn't we have a go, sat back, invited pressure. Let's go at them, and I don't care if we lose 2-0 as long as we give it a go, because our goal difference is drastically better than any of these teams in there. As long as we don't get absolutely pumped by Man City, which could happen, but our goal difference is okay compared to the other teams. Why don't we give them a go, because we might break them down.
Yeah, true, I agree. And going back to that goal difference, that could have a big say at the end of the season. But I look at the table, we're talking about goal difference to a guy today at work, and I was saying, if you look at the teams with the poor goal differences, that surely that tells you something. Like Bournemouth, Southampton, even Wolves, theirs is abysmal. Their goal difference. I mean, there's 4 or 5 teams that are up well up into the 20s. So you can see that we're not that far off it. We just need to be a bit more adventurous and go and score some more goals and get some points away from home.
Yeah. Let's see what you guys are saying. Ings and Lanzini could link up really well, and because and with that, sort of midfield structure that we have, it means that they're sitting, and Souček's not capable enough to get forward into the box or help and round, and he's not good enough on the ball to support and take the ball down and control and pass on, because his passing and ball retention and possession is dreadful. And if he wants to play a 3-man midfield tonight, why doesn't he go Downs and Rice sitting? If he really wants to have 2 sitting, let him have 2 sitting, but having 2 sitting means that I'd push 4 nows right up because if he's going to play the one up front again, if it's Ings or whoever, push him or push the creative player in that midfield 3 right up to get somebody near the striker, get him some service, get him something, because we know Ings isn't going to win a header, but if he can somehow win something against Dan Burn or whoever, that's one thing we have got to do tonight. We've got to alter our, let's play it around the back a little bit. Oh, they're pressuring us, hoof up, and it comes back again. That happens so many times on Sunday. It's just frustrating, Mike.
It is. And you can see it, like I said, a lot of it is coming together. It's just that one piece of the jigsaw for me at the moment is missing.
Yeah, and we can all see possible answers to it, but Moyes can't not. Why does Moyes only play for one striker? There's just no point playing with Ings up front of one striker. You just as well have me and Mike up there, because there's absolutely no point having a 2-man striker up there playing on his own with no one within 30 yards of him. You could see his frustration on Sunday. Yeah. Why is he killing strikers? Why is Moyes' obsession about going, I know what, I'm gonna play Ings up front with nobody nowhere near him and then blame it on him when we lose in the post-match press conference?
He broke a couple of times, didn't he, on Sunday, and he just hadn't got the pace to go on. The power.
He's not that striker.
I know Antonio can do that, and we could all see that. So why does he even think about starting Ings if he's not going to push someone up there to give him a hand? And it's baffling to me. It's totally baffling. But
hey ho, what can we do about it? Absolutely not. Well, to be fair, I don't know who's done that, but on your little description there, Mike, it now says you're Moyes' brother. I don't know who did that, but
can't believe someone would do something like that, Jake.
Well, no, I think that's quite disrespectful, to be honest with you, to you.
No, actually, he is younger than me.
Is he?
I must be his older brother.
Younger brother, Mike. Don't do yourself like that. George says, can't wait till we play 5 at the back and 3 holding midfielders. When we went out to St James's Park, we did play sort of a 3-4-3 with Antonio trying to pester the likes of Dan Bird and Fabian Schär, I think it was. I hope we don't opt back in any point left of this season to a back 3, Mike. I really hope not.
No, we can't go back to it. I think there is a recent upturn in form, I think, especially at home. And that is since we've gone back to a back 4. We've had that abysmal result at Brighton. But if you wipe that out, the rest of it hasn't been too bad. Tottenham weren't great either. But, the home games, we've mainly played with a back 4. And we've picked up points. Well, not looking brilliant, but picking up points.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, that's what it's all about now, all the way
it's
in.
Imperative.
Yeah, it is.
Just got to keep picking up these points. I'm just getting some little team news things for. I think somebody's put in the chat as well. We're expecting one change from the win at home to Southampton. Has to be Antonio for Ings, or I'd say Soufal in for Kehrer. I'm not sure, but we will get confirmation of that very shortly. Peter says, I think it is better playing at the same time as other teams. This makes it more nervy. Who else is playing tonight, Mike? Do you know?
No one any good. Only Man United and Brentford or something. I mean,
oh, is it?
No joke. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, yeah, because results last night pretty much went all to plan, didn't it? I suppose a Leeds Nottingham Forest draw would have been a little bit more favourable.
That would have been better, but still, I didn't mind that because
no, I don't mind it at all. Bournemouth lost, Leicester lost.
I personally I've seen every team this year, and for me, one of the worst teams was Forest. Okay, they do all right at home, I know. Bournemouth are probably the second worst, and Southampton were just toothless, weren't they, on Sunday? And you could understand they've had a few good results, all those teams recently, but you can see why their goal difference is so poor and why they're struggling.
Yeah. So we've just got to try and divert away from these games against Liverpool and Man United and Man City of getting massive thumpings, which would not help that as well. I'm hearing Souček starting. I haven't got that confirmed, but Souček starting is the word coming out, not confirmed. So yeah, that's something to brighten us all up a bit, Mike.
It won't be a shock though, will it? It's not a shock to any of us.
No,
because he is so stubborn. He just, there's 62,000 people in the place can see what's going wrong.
Yeah.
And he just don't want to be proved wrong, does he? He just seems to be stubborn. No, they don't want him. They don't want him in the team, but I'm going to stick with it. Stuff you thing,
because I do what I want.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
does what he wants. He does
That's
what he wants.
That's how it seems. Hey, if Souček scores a hat trick tonight and we win, I'll be the first one to say, "Well done, David Moyes." I would, but
yeah,
we've seen it, haven't we? We've seen it all season, and you're right, Jake. It goes back to last year as well.
Yeah.
Where his form has dropped off.
Yep, I now have that confirmed that Souček does start in tonight's game. And I believe, George has put it here as well. It's Antonio for Ings. That is the change, which is probably to be expected. Maybe some midfield and right back changes is what I would have liked to see as well. But he's stuck with it, which would all lead to a couple more changes on Saturday, because I can't see all three in the midfield starting 3 games in 6 days.
No way. That can't happen. I would have thought there'd be some changes for Saturday.
So
yeah, more than 1 or 2, probably 3 or 4, I would say.
Yeah. So Moyes has answered our questions in that sense. That yes, Mandy, we believe Souček is starting 2-0 Newcastle tonight. Well, I hope not. We are on the way to the top 6. It looks that way. My friend Sean says. You more or less play a back 3 with Rice so deep as a back 4 with the deepest holding midfielder babysitter in Europe. And sometimes there's 2 of them there as well. He gets company sometimes as well.
Yeah, he does. Holds hands with 1 or 2 of them.
Exactly. But hey ho, yeah, that's what's to be expected. All hail the Souček Twitter meltdown now, and he will score the winner.
Yeah,
as you said, Mike. But yeah. It's interesting. The sort of divide in the fan base in terms of Danny Ings, which is one thing that I did want to mention. There's 2 sides of looking at it, going, well, he should score goals. He's a Premier League proven striker. Whatever system, he should adapt and score goals. Or there is the latter, where he's only human.
Exactly, and he is a box striker, like I said, and he needs to be in and around the box. He's a goal sniffer. He's a natural goal scorer, full stop. But he cannot play that lone striking role. There's no way he can play that role. I thought it was a good signing, to be honest, Jake. I thought when we got him, I thought, we need another striker, and he's a proven scorer in the Premier League. And he would probably get into a lot of teams in the league.
Yeah.
But the way we play, it doesn't really suit him.
Yeah. Let's have a look at Villa TV. I think you will stay up now 2 games in hand, and teams behind you are losing games. Yeah, obviously, this is one of the games in hand tonight. So if we can pick up a point, that would be valuable. Pick up a penguin, pick up a point. And obviously the other game is Man City away, which I think we should all just discard, to be honest with you, because if we pick up anything there, then that will be a miracle. Right, here we go. Sean says, who's replacing Souček? They were a very unproven Championship youngster. Well, he has been proven, and he's not really a Championship youngster, Sean. I think he is good enough. Never going to happen in West Ham's position. You pick the players you know and trust. Well, we don't know and trust Thomas Souček to do anything apart from stand around, get him a Zimmer frame, honestly. Because what does he do to deserve to start? What did he do on Sunday to warrant himself starting again? Nothing.
I mean, Fornells comes on and plays 1 excellent pass, and he's only had a chance to make probably 3 passes because he's come on so late. Yeah. And one of them was a superb ball from out wide into Antonio to put him in on goal. That's 1 out of 3 passes. To be as good as that, it's good enough. I mean, Souček's is 1 in 8.
Yeah, and I think as well, people are saying Fornells in the middle. Moyes is never going to start Fornells and Paqueta together in a midfield 3. That's never going to happen. So you're going to have one or the other and 2 holding players. Downs has proven himself on a couple of occasions in the Premier League. He's looked extremely solid in every Conference League game and in the FA Cup as well. I just think it's the right option because he can't do any worse than what Souček has done.
That's right.
It make sense.
But I mean, Paqueta for me, he's shocked me the way that he tackles. He hardly ever loses the ball. He gets his foot in. He wins headers. He's very un-Brazilian-like, but he still can play that Brazilian pass. And you see the little flick in the back heel when we were in trouble down in the bottom corner where we were. I mean, one like absolute piece of brilliance, you know, typical Brazilian player. Well, he wouldn't start for Brazil if he didn't have that much quality, you know. Yeah.
Let's have a look at that lineup. Then it's just come through, Mike. Here we go. Drum roll. Fabianski, Kehrer, Agurd, Zuma, Emerson, Rice, Souček, Paqueta, Bowen, Antonio, Benrahma. So you've got, well, I suppose you could call it a 4-3-3 formation, really, couldn't you? Kehrer worries me. We'll talk about that in a second, despite his good performance on Sunday. But Agurd and Zuma, it's good to see them two there again. Emerson, right decision. Rice, right decision. Souček, we've talked it to death. Paqueta, probably right decision. Bowen's always going to start in it. Antonio up front to replace Ings and Benrahma there. Right, a couple of things to take out of there. Firstly, we'll start with the latter, and that's Benrahma. It's a difficult one because he's not done anything to excite me in the last few games at all. And leaving Cornet on the bench for this game does baffle me.
Yeah, I think Cornet will come on the pitch tonight at some time or another.
Yeah,
you know, he was looking quite good. He was getting in. I know it was only that European Conference game, but you know, he looked very sharp and he has got pace to burn. So, you know, he's a sort of player that it's ideal to bring on as a sub.
Yeah. I think just that injection of pace would have helped as well there tonight.
Yeah.
And then maybe to bring Benrahma off the bench because he has played every game and Moyes sort of stuck with him on the left hand side, and he hasn't performed to the level that we'd have wanted. And you know, I do want to see Cornet at some point tonight. So if Benrahma's not doing so well, let's bring on Cornet of half an hour and go and give him something to go off. Again, I think Fornals is being heavily misfortuned in this side. I don't think he's done anything wrong to warrant himself not starting in God knows how many games. So that's a little bit frustrating on his part, but I can see it at the same time. But I'd start Fornals over Souček, even though he's not going to start two flair players, I suppose you could say, in the same midfield at once. Peter says Cornet should start against their giants at the back to scare them. Downs is no youngster, deserves to start and is the better passer of the ball. Even if it's just purely a player that's going to be better to pass the ball, Downs retains possession well, he gets his foot in. And we've seen it on many, many occasions. Sure, it's not like he's never played a Premier League or Conference League or FA Cup game. He can't do any worse than Souček, and I can't stress that enough. And Sean, if you watch it tonight, Souček will play a blind in that tonight. But if you watch it tonight and he plays the way I probably think he will and how he has done all season, come and tell me what Souček will do that Downs won't, because there's nothing. It's the usual midfield, which is the frustrating thing about it. On paper, it's a top team. Moyes will make a sub until the 75th and bring on Cornet on the 93rd. Oh dear.
Yeah.
I kind of expected Antonio to start. That was one of the logical changes that was in my head, Mike.
Yeah, I thought he would. Yeah, if he was fit. Obviously, he's had a bit of a fitness problem. I'd say, yeah, especially against Newcastle. I think, you know, he will rough him up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's got the pace and power. I mean, it just wants someone with a bit of pace and power alongside him, really.
Exactly. Right, then we're going to have a look at the Newcastle lineup in just a second before people start shouting, "Are you Newcastle lineup? Where's the Newcastle lineup?" It's coming. It is certainly coming. So whilst I load that up, before you drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe to West Ham Official if you haven't already. Road to 5k is on, and hopefully next season we'll reach 5k whilst we're in the Premier League if all things go well. Channel sponsors are SRM, Carver and Son. Check them out using the link in the description down below. Are you ready to look at the tune then, Mike?
Go on then, let's have it.
Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier as captain, Fabian Schär, Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Bruno Guimaraes, Sean Longstaff, Joe Linton, Jacob Murphy, Alison Maximan, Callum Wilson. God. Right, let's try and dissect this as best I can. I'm not a Newcastle expert. So Pope in goal, is that a 1, 2, 3? So it's a back four of Trippier right back, Schär left back, two in the middle of Botman and Burn. I presume is it Longstaff and Gamara is sort of sitting, maybe Murphy a little bit ahead or on the wing, Joe Linton in there somewhere, St Maximin on one wing, and Callum Wilson up front. The one thing I'll say is there's no Miggy Almiron there, and Callum Wilson. Oh.
He comes back to all the time, mate, and every time.
Yeah. Thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, it's pretty much the team I thought they'd have, though Isaac's on the bench.
Let's have a little look. Oh, you're testing my button power here, Mike. There it is.
Isaac on the bench.
Dubravka, Lascelles, Gordon, Ritchie, Target, Isaac, Manquillo, Willock, and Anderson. So attacking options there: Gordon, Willock, Isaac. I don't know whether Anderson is. I don't know. But yeah, there's a few there. But Isaac is on that bench, super sub to come on.
Yeah, it's a decent squad, to be fair, and it's a team with playing with confidence. Yeah, it is going to be tough. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we played them a few weeks ago, didn't we, when they were in great form? And I thought we more than matched them, especially being away from home out there. But I think this will be a different contest tonight. And we do really well to pick up a point, I think.
Yeah. Completely different outfit. You know, they weren't in the best of runs of form. They were sort of in that big string of 0-0s and 1-0 sort of times. They didn't have all of the confidence in the world. They have one eye on that cup final. Now that's all changed. They're on the high. They've beat Man United. They seem like they've got that knack back again now, and that's what worries me tonight. And another thing that worries me, and you know, credit where credit's due, I thought Kara played exceptionally well on Sunday. I think he did his job. I think he did his job to perfection, and he put a great ball in for the winning goal, as it was for Naya Gerd. But when you put St Maximin probably on the left-hand side up against Kara with his defensive abilities, it's going to be a cushion night, Mike, I think.
Yeah, it might be hiding behind the sofa at times, but yeah, St Maximin, he blows hot and cold, doesn't he? You know, and let's hope he blows cold instead of hot tonight. Because when he's on it, and he does stopping, and he is quick, and he's a good runner with the ball. Yeah, we're gonna have to be on it defensively. We're gonna have to be well on it, and that means also the midfield tucking in as well and doing their bit. But hey, you know, their defense is, you know, I mean, Trippier and Byrne have been playing well as a fullbacks, but the two centre halves are, you know, they are beatable.
Yeah, and I think it's the same sort of scenario to Sunday. Don't go giving away stupid free kicks around the box, because we know what Kieran Trippier can do with a free kick. The same with Ward-Prowse on Sunday. Let's not do any of that, and don't want to give away any silly fouls in and around that sort of box area. But yeah, that's just what we're warning. Super Terry Newsham, hope you are well, sir. Have you recovered from Sunday yet? West Ham going to drop off so deep when team get the ball. Well, we all know that, sure. You just state the obvious for us. We know that. In the cheap seats tonight, yeah, well, the sofa's comfy, but it's not quite the rip off the wristband. Let's have a free drink, sir. Get on that nice padded seat, front row. But I don't know.
Well, Sean would know about dropping off deep, wouldn't he, being a Tottenham fan?
Go on, Mike.
They sit on their own 6-yard box against a team with 10 men.
Yeah, sure, you did us no favours there, for God's sake. I mean, what a goal it was from Michael Keane. You can't take that away from him.
Right,
but for God's sake, Sean, for once, help yourself and help us. Deary me. George says, yeah, I'm not confident looking at their attacking threat. Wilson will do what he does. So Maximin will ease past our wing backs. And Newcastle's record recently, while starting with Murphy, is very, very decent. That's a bit of an insight there on Newcastle. I think he's bang on as well. They, you know, in all different outlets, they can cause problems, Mike.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, like I say, team playing with confidence, you know, and a team allowed to go out there and play. I mean, Eddie Howe has got them doing that. I mean, he's done a fantastic job there. And, yeah, I keep saying it's going to be a real tough game. But, hey, we've got to stand up to it.
Yeah, exactly. Andy says, Callum Wilson is our Achilles heel, need to shut him down, which Gerd and Zuma can do. Let's hope so. I mean, what was it? I think he scored 2 goals inside the 3 minutes. But St James's part, one of them was disallowed. But yeah, let's try and get past the 3-minute mark before Callum Wilson puts the ball in the net. Ideally tonight, can we try and do that? Watch Antonio destroy the best back line in the league tonight. Lee says, let's just go and get out this law. We all know our players can play on their day, and let's just get the 3 points. Come on, your irons. Well put. Well put. It is crap or bust. We have nothing to lose. King Suchek, man of the match contender. John says, I would be happier with starting Fornals, but I'm optimistic and think we can get a result as long as Wilson is on the bench. Well, unfortunately, he's not. So, the annual Wilson goal will be coming up for sure. Neil, hope you well, mate. Evening all from rural South Australia, 3:40 a.m. on Thursday morning, and as usual, what on earth is Suchek doing in that 11? Honestly, my lifetime aspiration, whether he's West Ham manager or whether he's moved on, is to get an interview with David Moyes and ask him whether it's now or 10 years in the future. Why did you persist on starting Suchek every single week? That's what I'm going to say. That's been my first question. Jay Woods, evening, guys. Suchek again is criminal. Fornals should be starting instead. Phil says, hopefully be more relaxing at the youth games. Well, I can't wait to sit back. It probably won't be a padded seat, but beggars can't be choosers. Hopefully, let's watch some attacking football. We would like that very, very much. We found out our potential opponents in the final. It will be Arsenal, which means the final will be played at the Emirates of the FA Youth Cup. So it's nice and accessible for us. It was either Arsenal or Man City, and I don't think many would have been going to Etihad. So the final will be at the Emirates, and that's a good incentive again. If we beat Southampton tomorrow in the FA Youth Cup, semi-final will be in the first final since 1999. And be playing at the Emirates, where I'm sure a few West Ham will go over there if we get there as well. So yeah, I'll be over there. Phil will be over there. And yeah, we are looking forward to it very, very much. Yeah, Terry didn't get an invite. Dad didn't get an invite. The joke's done. The joke's done. Mike,
No.
Mike, did you get an invite?
No.
I did invite you on the show. I said you could come with us if you like.
No, you did actually. Yeah, my missus is out there. She can go. My daughter's going to the game, and she's sat in my seat tonight. So.
Very good, very good. Here we go. Look, they're both doing it again. All Sunday, I had in my ear. Well, he's going to Youth Cup on Thursday. Honestly. George says Zuma and a Gerd partnership going under the radar. Another clean sheet. Fingers crossed. It's the partnership we've all been waiting for, Mike.
Yeah. How many times they played together this year? 3 or 4, is it?
3 or 4 times, yeah.
Clean sheet every time.
They've done well.
Say no more. I mean, Gerd. Yeah, he had a couple of games where he wasn't quite on it, but he's back to it again. He's been superb for me. Yeah, one of our best signings, and he could turn out to be one of our top signings.
In terms of backtracking to in goal, I think we all had a bit of a when we saw Fabianski back in the lineup again. But having said that, he was very, very good. There was pre-match and post-match were completely different feelings about Fabianski. That save, which I caught on camera, that's on the vlog, where he saw it very, very late, and you can see that on the vlog how very late he caught it. That was a goal-stopping save, and he played very, very well, Mike, and retains his spot as expected.
Honestly, I thought as soon as because he didn't have a lot to do, did he? Let's face it. They didn't have many shots. But when he latched onto it in front of goal, I thought, he can't miss. And that was a great save. And he pulled off a couple of decent saves and was pretty commanding. Like I said, he didn't have a hell of a lot to do, but what he had to do. And I mean, that's harder for a goalkeeper when he's not got a lot to do in a game. And all of a sudden someone, gives him an effort like that to keep out. So, yeah, hats off to him. I thought he was, one of our better players.
Yeah. Exactly. Bang on. Let's have a look at Fab's on fire. What a save. Jay Wood says, I'm not looking forward to seeing Kerry defend against the Maxman. Yeah, we mentioned that just a short while ago. I do agree, unfortunately. Agree with the could be a nightmare. It could be. So Maxman is almost unplayable at times. But yeah, as you said, Mike, he does blow hot and cold. He can be a brilliant player on his day, but sometimes he's not as good there. So we'll have to wait and see how Kera does in that sense. Let's move on to a prediction then. 46 minutes away from kickoff as I say it. And Mike, what is your prediction?
Boring 1-1. Sorry.
You've took everyone's prediction there. No. I think Phil said that last night, and then I went, okay, I'll go 1-0. So it's going to be identical. I'm going to go for a 1-0. West Ham. I'm gonna alter my goal scorer though. Pardon me, Moyes ball.
Change it to Suchek, aren't you?
No, I'm not. No, to be fair, last night I did say one of the midfield three will score, but I'm going to change it to Antonio. I'm feeling Antonio is going to get on the score sheet. Another clean sheet for the back line and a goal for Antonio as well to boost him. And I think we'll win 1-0. It's not going to be the prettiest game of football in the world, but I think we can at least get a point off of them. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I think there's two sides looking at it. We'll either get a 1-0, 1-1 or get battered 3 or 4-0. That's the sort of two sides where you can sort of go, yeah, for both sides of it, Mike. You can see it happening.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years ago when St. Maximin first went there, we were 3-0 down, I think, at one stage. And in the end, we only lost 3-2. And he ripped us to pieces that day. And I mean, if he could have finished that day, we could have lost by a lot more, 4 or 5 easy. Yeah. But we did fight ourselves back into that game. Yeah, I mean, a few times this year, you've got to remember, we have been goals down and we have come back. I think last year we were goals up and gave goals away, so yeah, don't get me wrong, I'd sooner be 3-0 up than 3-0 down, but we have proved this year that we can fight back.
Yeah, exactly. So we've just got to try and hope with that, and hope that they ignore what Moyes says in the pre-match, in the pre-match chat, and yeah, they go out there and just play football. That's all we asked for. People thought that Kehrer would be a nightmare last year, but he was close to man of the match. He was, and yeah, we do give the credit to him for that 100%. I thought he was excellent. But St. Maximin poses a different threat this week to whoever they had on their wing. To be honest, bottom of the league, he didn't have too much to do, but you can't take away from him. He proved me wrong, that's for sure. 1-1 says Phil. 3-1 defeat. Wilson banker to score. Hope I'm wrong. 1-0 West Ham. Suchek 3 minutes. Once again, any draw will do. 0-0. 4-4. Any draw. Says Terry. Callum Wilson is going to score, isn't he? Yeah. I think 3-1 to Newcastle. Sorry. So James is going for 1-0. Ultimate squeaky bum time. That will be interesting. And G Woods, great minds think alike. 1-0 West Ham. Antonio to get the goal. And we're going to sneak another 3 points onto the board. I'll be happy with Desmond. Says Neil as well. Who's going for a 2-2. Right then, before final thoughts, Callum Wilson goal bingo. Mike, pick a minute.
What, 2 minutes again? No. No, I don't think he's scoring 2 minutes. Probably be the 74th or something like that.
I'm going to go 54, about 10 minutes after half time.
If he stays on that, someone might take him out, hopefully.
Ease that, yeah. Or somebody will wipe him out. Yeah, 54. See, there we go. Snap. There we go.
Where's
4 minutes.
When's Billy Bombs when you need him?
Where's Julian Dix? He ain't got a job at the moment. Yeah. Just get Julian Dix to come on and just wipe him out. Oh dear. We have Wilson 4 minutes, 89th, 66th, 21st. Indeed, George, indeed. So there we go. Plenty of variations of minutes there. If he doesn't score, I will be surprised. So Mark Noble, David Moyes, Kevin Nolan, whoever you want to be, Mike, what are you saying to those boys before they go out there tonight?
Hey, you just got to give everything. We got 3 points here and we're looking a lot safer. We move up to 12th in the league and there's a hell of a lot of teams below us. And then we got a little bit of breathing space. Take the pressure off you. Come on, boys. Let's get out there and get all 3 points tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And I think put a show on for the fans. Get Paqueta and Benrahma in the right times, doing some flicks, bringing some creativity, playing a bit more with fast pace. We've got Kehrer there who's got some pace, and I don't know if you noticed, Mike, whether you saw it from your end, but about 5 minutes before we scored that goal, Kehrer had it on Sunday out on the right-hand side. There was nothing ahead of him, and he opted to get it and turn it back, and the whole crowd turned. There was a big, sort of boo for 5 seconds, and that's where, I turned to Tracy and Dad, and I said, it's turning here. It's turning. We cannot afford to have that again. And then when we got that goal, the crowd, especially down our end, started banging the sides and trying to get trying to get the players up. That's what we've got to do tonight. We cannot continue playing this positive football because people pay a lot of money to watch this and they're fed up of seeing this negative crap.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of times they looked up and you get Bowen he inverts, he comes inside and there's no one out there then. He does that, defensively to shut off the pass out to the fullback. But sometimes he should be looking to just get out as wide as he can, to give us that out ball. Because he will get in there, He is one player for me that give him the ball. Just give him the ball because he makes things happen. And he has been playing better lately, but we just didn't give him enough of the ball on Sunday. So give the lad a chance, get the ball out to his feet. He takes people on. I know a lot of the time he cuts inside and whatever, but he still keeps hold of it and he causes problems.
Certainly does.
So, we need a bit more of that tonight.
Yeah. A couple more minutes. 10th minute, 8th minute for a Callum Wilson goal. Jay Wood says, I want to see Cornet come on and go at Trippier. He can beat him for pace. Bang on. Come on, you eyes. Mighty Mike has motivated me. We can do this. That is what we like to see. Gary's over at London Stadium. It's not evening quite over here. It says, Gary, hopefully it's going to liven up a bit, especially with the joys in town. But it's going to be an interesting night. And obviously we've beaten the sides around us, which is the reason why we are and why we've given ourselves just a little bit of breathing space between ourselves and that red relegation line. But it's nights like tonight where if we can get an extra point, it's all going to add together to support to our safety, hopefully. And it's about not rolling over and letting Newcastle do what they like tonight, score an early goal, get a couple, get the flip flops out, and that's the end of that without really any fight. Let's do what we've done in past years and have a go at them. Get the crowd up under the lights. If the crowds are entertained, then they'll get up under the lights. Get a bit of an atmosphere going in there. It's the only industry where people hand over their money week in, week out, and sometimes it's rubbish, and we continue to come back when it's rubbish. Let's change that tonight. Let's put on a show. I can't stress that enough. Come on, West Ham, please do it for yourself. But it is what it is.
You're right, Jake. The atmosphere has been good. A few times last season, it got going when we beat the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea, and those European nights under the lights. Some of the atmospheres, some of those games was really, really good. So it can be done, but it also takes a bit to come from the field as well. Go the other way, it's a 50-50 thing,
Exactly. If we're entertained, then we'll get up and things will happen. But if we're not, well, you're just gonna go and get a pint of 38. This is crap.
Yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it? But hey ho, we'll see what happens. Mick, thank you very much indeed for joining us. You're just coming in as I'm just about to start wrapping things up. So thank you very much for joining us, mate. So as I said, thank you very much for everyone for joining us. I'll have a quick reaction straight after the game if I'm quick. There won't be no live stuff, but we will be up at the Youth Cup semi-final tomorrow night. So expect some content Thursday night, Friday morning surrounding that. That's going to be good. And then back again Friday night or something on Friday for the Fulham game. And then we're back again for the Fulham game on Saturday. The games never stop.
They keep coming, Jake.
They keep coming. And we've got to keep, picking up these points and trying to keep that daylight, keep that buffer between us and the relegation zone. That's the most important thing, Mike.
Definitely, yeah. Just keep us heads above water there. Just keep a little bit of breathing space there. That's what we need to do. Even if it's pick up a point here and there, they could be involved come the end of the season.
It's just steadily topping up that points part. That's what we've got to do. Thanks everybody for watching in the chat. Thank you very much, Mike, for joining me.
Thank you, mate. Thanks, everyone.
That's all right. I'll speak to you soon, Mike. And like and subscribe to West Ham Official if you haven't already. Become a member of the channel for just $2.99 a month as well. And I'm going to leave you with this fancy little graphic. If it is, it is. And we'll see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Thank you very much, Mike. See you soon. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.